been to Machakos University. I have served SECU University, and I left SECU as an acting chair to become the first CS to the president as a women's rights advisor. And those positions are two in the current government, and they are occupied by women, Ambassador Monica Juma and myself. So for the young university students who are here, mine is to encourage you that you can be anything you want to be for as long as you become a disciplined young Kenyan, focused, work hard and smart, and you must be a person of character. That's it. I am an alumni of Nairobi University, having studied law in Parkland's campus. I played basketball for Dynamites. We were the first cohort that started the East African Ball Games. I hope you still do that. So for those of us engineers, my sister is an engineer, who spend a lot of time in your rooms reading, I can assure you the papers that I passed were those that I had just landed from maybe Arusha, having played basketball, and to sit for an exam or a cut the next day. So sports is good. I still play basketball, for those who think we are too old, and I still indulge in a lot of sporting activities. So that is for the students. For the elderly like me, it's not too late for you to continue playing. Keep playing, and you keep your mind going. So don't shy away from doing sporting activities. So, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, today I stand here in the big shoes of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. I am just here as a humble servant of this country to read the speech of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, who's the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Minister of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs. Clap for the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Well, as it's customary among Kenyans, I wish to warmly welcome you all to Nairobi, the great city in the world that is home to wildlife and natural park within its city. By extension, I welcome you all visitors here today to enjoy our Kenyan hospitality, including the opportunity to sample our unique cuisine. I hope you have. The 5th Pasea Kasibea International Conference is indeed a blessing in disguise due to the fact that it has it's coincided with the raging El Nino rains, which have devastated many parts of our country. We hope the esteemed engineers here will leverage their experience to advise our technocrats on how to better prepare for such crises in future. We appreciate you being here to celebrate this distinctively Pan-African International Conference on African soil. I'm delighted that the organizers chose to bring this conference to Africa, providing a platform to discuss African solutions to African problems on her own soil, and specifically to be here in Kenya. In the normal course of things, we'll be meeting in Europe or the Americans to ostensibly discuss Africa on foreign soil. I think that's where you clap. The importance of this conference can therefore not be overstated because our continent is currently grappling with a distorted world economy and food security challenges. Further, there is serious concern about the escalating costs of fuel and other essential commodities. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference has a historical twist to it, as it is the first African engineering conference that has incorporated the African Union agenda. For some years now, the African Union has desired that its professionals be at the center of Africa's development. Hence, the theme of this conference, Engineering Agenda 2063, The Africa We Want, is extremely apt and answers to the desire of Africans. I'm proud of you having taken a step away from being bystanders and have to instead chosen to only lead the process of developing strategies, innovations of technologies that are made in and for Africa, but also helping in the adaptation of soft skills in the productive sectors of agriculture and manufacturing. The genesis of Agenda 2063 followed the realization by African leaders under the newly minted African Union of the urgent need to refocus and reprioritize Africa's agenda. From celebrating attainment of political independence, Agenda 2063 is therefore our blueprint and master plan for transforming Africa into the global powerhouse that it ought to be. It is the continent's strategic framework that aims to deliver an inclusive and sustainable development agenda. Africa's Agenda 2063 Master Plan identifies strategic incentives key to accelerating Africa's economic growth and development, as well as reclaiming and promoting our common identity. This is why we need to think beyond the brick and mortar approach adopted earlier to defining strategy for repositioning Africa to become a dominant player in the global arena. For this reason, my plea this congregation is to pay attention to the priority areas of Agenda 2063, where engineers must play a critical role. Just to refresh our minds, one, leading to a skills revolution underpinned by science, technology, and innovation, scaling up the use of modern agriculture methods to increase productivity, expanding blue economy projects for accelerated economic growth, ensuring environmentally sustainable and climate-resilient economies and commodities, building world-class infrastructure, crisscrossing Africa, ensuring Africa takes full responsibility for financing her development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this continent is full of possibilities waiting for you to draw upon. Africa needs you as much as you need it. Imagine an integrated political united continent fashioned on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of African Renaissance. A united Africa provides immense opportunities for each one of you as engineers. Imagine designing a railway system that would enable the movement of high-speed train from Lagos in Nigeria with loaded plantains. Cutting through, can clap. Cutting through the drylands of Chad, the forests of Cameroon and Democratic Republic of Congo, skirting through the smiling gorillas of Rwenzori Mountains and banana plantations of Uganda, and through the endless wildlife of Tsavo to the port of Mombasa in Kenya, on in less than 10 hours. Is that not possible, a dream worth our time and thinking? If yes, and by the way you've clapped, I know the answer is yes, then why are we sleeping on our jobs? This high-speed train that we are dreaming about will shorten the time it needs to take goods to move from the East to West Africa via the Cape of Good Hope. It will be faster and easier for the entire Africa to do business. Such a transformative idea can only become reality if engineers steer the ship of Africa's Agenda 2063. It means how to activate communications and infrastructure. Connectivity for Africa must constantly be on the discussion menu of PCS. Consider also the significance of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which at implementation will create the largest free trade area in the world. The pact connects a whopping 1.3 billion people across 55 countries, with a combined gross domestic GDP valued at $3.4 trillion. It has the potential to lift 30 million people out of extreme poverty, As engineers, you need to leverage this opportunity to be growing your businesses across Africa. We in Kenya are fully committed to ensuring that the AFTA is successfully implemented. Kenya is at the forefront of lobbying for full implementation of the AfCFTA because it will reshape the markets and economies across the region and boost output in the services of manufacturing and natural resources sector. To achieve its full potential, Africa will need to institute significant policy reforms and trade facilitation measures. Implementing the policies already in place will require strong policy and legislative reforms at the national and regional level. Given the long-term growth opportunity that AfCFTA offers to Africa countries, professionals like you need to become fully involved. Let us reflect on the fact that Africa is the richest continent on the globe, yet poverty hunger continues to ravage its citizenry. With millions of its young people unable to find decent jobs, does the moral of this table or tale not embarrass us? Agenda 2063 is designed to address the myriad challenges faced in Africa, which includes high unemployment levels, food insecurity, and significant health challenges. Thankfully, it is not all doom and gloom. Despite all the hardships and difficulties endured, the continent, like an anvil, still stands tall. Africa continues to be the embodiment of the enduring spirit of sacrifice and dedication, qualifies deftly ingrained in the Ubuntu. You are because I am. We need to laud the Ubuntu spirit within ourselves. Friends, chapter 3 of Ecclesiastes, the Holy Bible, records that there is a time and a season for every activity under the sun, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to keep and a time to throw them away, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time for war and a time for peace. The indisputable dispute of the Ecclesiastes passage is the informed conclusion that the only constant in life is change. In earthly terms, when you stop changing, you die. Now is the time to build the Africa we want with participation from an all-inclusive engineering fraternity. As Pasea and Kesabea, you must stay the course of recalibrating meaningful change in Africa, not as an option, but as a necessity for survival for humankind. I therefore call on all engineers present here today to be bold and courageous and take the bull by its horns. I dare you to be willing, to be aggressive, innovate, and take calculated business risks. Let us be intentional in building strong strategic partnerships with our peers along and across the continent. We are the generation that has what it takes to change our world and the cause of our continent's history. Let us work harder and reap the benefits of more responsive, efficient, and effective engineering systems. Let me close by recognizing the fact that the change is not easy. It's not an easy thing for human beings to embrace. I'm cognizant of the fact that whenever the winds of change blows, we have an opportunity to build windmills to create more power to ride the storm. I appeal to you to choose the less traveled road by accepting change and refusing to trade short-term gains for long-term pains. Bill Clinton once said, "The price of doing the same old thing is far higher than the price of change." I appeal you to take pride in your profession and take up the spirit of Pan-Africanism. Let's all work together in one accord, pulling together into the future by scaling up innovation programs within the engineering sector. For example, let us harness the renewable energy for mechanization to power, irrigation, post-harvest food processing projects, and put hunger in what Kenyans say, Kaburia Sahau. That's in the past for our friends. It is my great pleasure to now declare this conference officially open. I wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.